Hi Luis Pasteros community. Today we're going to have the video tutorial of this week, so let's start. The topic we're going to use this week is going to be reported questions. If you remember, last class we were practicing to transform ideas from direct speech into indirect speech, and this is the second part of this class. What's a reported question? If you remember, when we use reported speech, we are explaining the words that other person mentioned before. And there are some rules to use this method. For example, in this case, we are specifically going to speak about questions. So, when we use reporting speech in the case of a question, we are going to use the verb ask when we're reporting questions and follow the same method for changing direct speech into indirect speech or reported questions. For example, here it says, "What time is it?" I asked. In your explanation, you are going to say, "I asked what time it was." But which differences can you notice from the first idea on the left and the next idea on the right? Well, the first idea is exactly what I mentioned in the moment that I was speaking. The second idea is just transforming my words into reported speech. Note, it is very important that you notice that when we are transforming a question into reported speech, the format that we are going to use is just like an affirmative sentence. This is to say, when we report questions, the question format is not allowed. We have to eliminate this structure of a question. And how can we do that? Well, there are some tips to follow, like the next. Number one, as you remember, when we are reporting ideas, it is important that you identify the words that you are going to change, because not all of the words in the sentence are going to be transformed. These words are, for example, people, verb modals, and time or place markers. If you remember the last class, we had a chart when we specify these kind of words and the transformation that we are going to make, or that these words are going to suffer. For example, over there it says, "Are you feeling fine now, Eduardo?" she asked. So over there we are going to underline people, actions, and also time or place markers. People, we have you. Verbs, we have the word are. And in the case of time markers, we have the word now. These are the only things that we have to consider in order to transform this idea. Then, as I told you before, we are going to avoid using a question structure. What is this? We cannot keep the format of a question. We have two different ways to understand this. We have two categories of words. The first category is when we have questions using to be. In the case of questions using to be, the situation is very simple because we are only going to invert the position of the subject and the verb. In the case of questions which use auxiliary verbs such as do, does, or did, we are going to cancel these words. There is an example. "Where do you live?" she asked. In our explanation, we are going to say, "She asked where," then we drop the word do, which is not necessary in this moment, and then we continue with the sentence, "You lived." Remember the transformation in verb tense. If my actions in the original idea are expressed in present, I'm going to use simple past. If the idea is in simple past, then I am going to use past perfect. And finally, if my idea is in present perfect, once again, I am going to use past perfect. The next thing to consider is, if my question is a yes-no question. If you remember, these kind of questions are those that require yes or no in the answer. And my question doesn't include a WH question words, like for example, what, when, where, etc. In these cases, we have to use another element. This element is going to be the word if, or as you know, a condition. When we use this word, the sentence is going to be like this. We have an example here. Are you ready now, Laura? He asked. He asked if she was ready then. Over there, I mark the words using different colors for you to understand how we are transforming the words from the original sentence into a reported question. We have a second example. Was your mother angry yesterday, Leo? She asked. Then the reported question is going to say, she asked if his mother, because we're speaking about Leo's mother, had been angry the day before. Remember, here I am using one more time the information that I shared with you in the charts about time markers, place markers, and auxiliary verbs. So it is important that you have this information at hand in case you forget these things. Okay guys, well, this is the last thing regarding reported questions. In case that you don't remember something, just go back in the previous lesson, try to watch the video tutorial that I sent you before, and try to complete the task. This is a simple thing, but the secret is that you keep it practicing. So that's all for today. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye.